It's at noon on ET now. I am Anisha Jain. With me is Ajay Sharma. And for now, the third day on the trot, market is trading in the red. There was a attempt made to recover on an intraday basis. And yes, we're off the lows. But it's not a very impressive recovery that we have at our hands. And partly on account of the global factors playing awry. Because yesterday we saw a sharp dip coming in on the Nasdaq. So a rub-off impact back home. Having said that, Bank Nifty is the one which has managed to recover almost 300 points from the lowest point of the trading session. That is where the maximum amount of recovery has happened. In fact, that index had broken into the green, currently just around that flat line. So watch out for that big recovery in the Bank Nifty. It's the broader markets which are outperforming yet again. Mid-cap as well as small-cap indices will come up for you on the screen. From the lowest point of the trading session, they have managed to recover quite a bit. So that's something to watch out for. Good recovery and holding up in the green. You also have Adani group of stocks which are in focus on account of that relief coming in from the Supreme Court. There was a bit of sell-on news that happened on an intraday basis on some of the stocks, but most of them are still holding up in the green. The likes of Adani Enterprises, Wilmar, Ports, etc. are the key flagship names from that group. VST Industries continue to be in focus. Of course, the veteran investor Radhakishan Damani had actually picked up additional 1.4% stake, and now the total stake in the company is well above 34%. So that stock was in focus on account of that. Another marquee investor checked into PDS Industries, and that was Malabar Investments. So that stock is high around 9 to 10%. And talking about marquee investors, it was Amansa Holdings which has picked up stake in Stride Pharma. So we are watching out for that stock as well in the trading session. L&T Finance Home is also in focus on account of that important upgrade that came in from NK. It was a double upgrade of sorts from a sell to a buy. And after a while, we have seen that there's a positive commentary about L&T Finance Holding. So that stock closes to the highest point of the trading session. There was a Q3 update that came in from Bank of Maharashtra. Both in terms of advances as well as deposits, the growth is between 17 to 19%. So impressive growth there, and the stock too is reacting to that. You also have Nalco on the back foot today, so just marking it in the terms of the weakness that we are witnessing there, and a large amount of weakness in the IT stocks as well today. So ahead of the earnings season, which will kickstart next week, IT is the worst performing sector today. So a lot of pressure stemming from that. But Ajay, I think it's just the overall weakness that we have in the market. The important bit to watch out for is the Bank Nifty. Of course, today is the weekly options expiry, and perhaps that's the reason, Ajay, we are seeing that big volatile move on Bank Nifty.
Well, Anisha, last 2 days trading action has been slightly softish, but came on the back of low volumes. Today onwards is when one would expect volumes to actually improve from here on. And this in the face of slightly, adverse cues coming in from the global market. Yields actually shot up, and so did the dollar index, which actually supported Indian market and emerging market as a basket for last many weeks now. But the only thing is that FI flows are back. So how is all of that actually impacting the market right now? Look at the PSU Bank Index. That has actually shot up very nicely and is helping the overall Bank Nifty. Rohit Srivastava is joining us now to talk more about markets. Rohit, I'd like your thoughts on Nifty, Bank Nifty, particularly PSU Bank part of the Bank Nifty. And also, are you in the camp who believe that much awaited correction will play out in January after, cyclicality plays out, all of that? Or are you in the camp that it may not be so easy?
No, I do believe that we are overdue for a correction, but we have just started the new year. It's maybe a bit early for the whole thing to play out. You give it a few days, it's possible that the Nifty, if it, say, for example, doesn't break 21,500 today, will once again attempt to make a new high towards 21,930. Similarly, on the Bank Nifty also, if we don't break, say, 47,400, we could probably go up to 48,930. So these are the levels we are going to be watching. There's a possibility that, yes, the lower end holds, we make one more attempt to a new all-time high. But eventually, I think it does roll over into the second half of the month to the downside. And that is a risk that I think we can't really put off the table just based on some of these short-term gyrations. So we're not going to give up on the risk side for Jan or for the coming year. And Jan is going to be an important one to help us gauge how it plays out over the next couple of months. Now, specifically, you've asked me about the PSU Bank Index. It's been one of the most robust parts of this market. So far today, it's holding the 20-day average, so you can't again rule out that it attempts to go higher in the next couple of days. But the more this segment really goes up, it is getting, I think, to a point where you'd want to take a slight backseat on PSU Banks also, because they've had a pretty big run.
How are your positioning for this series then? Your long short, if ideas, if not at least sectors, the sectors which look weak and the ones which can outperform.
I think the easy target is, of course, to start with the Nifty specific sectors. While they can be difficult, if I have to think of a long sector, it's probably going to be pharma. That is the only one where we are able to see stable strength building up even at this point of time. So it's probably the defensive play of the moment. That whatever money is moving out of from anywhere in the large caps is shifting into pharma stocks. So I think pharma is the play for outperformance right now. Weakness probably could easily come into the financials, come into the auto sector, come into the PSU stocks in general. I'm not talking of PSU banks, but the other PSUs in general, the PSE index, for example. That is a place where I think we're pretty much exhausted the current move. Some of them are extremely overbought, on long-term readings, and that is where I think the trouble could be.
On that note, we let you go. Appreciate you making time and speaking with us. Quickly marking a